Now we can create a suppressive system. In a suppressive system, it'll suppress all diseases, pests, and nutrient deficiencies in our foods, regardless of what food is grown on the land. So the same seed being planted into a suppressive system will bring health. That same seed can be planted into a soil that has chronic conditions and bring sickness. So it's all dependent on the soil whether we want sickness or health. Soil care reduces health care. One of the things we can do to create a suppressive system where diseases are simply not allowed to express themselves is to stop tilling the land. We stop tilling the land, we support the fungal network, the communication network, the internet under the ground between all of our plant species. They're all able to communicate with the microorganisms, and the microorganisms offer them disease suppression and protection. We are seed savers, so we save our seed to preserve seed transferred endophytes. Those endophytes are transferred from the parent plant to the next generation of plant. If that plant is grown in a biologically active soil system, using bacteria and fungi as the driving force feeding that plant. So that parent plant will transfer those same immunity functions onto its offspring. One other main thing to create a suppressive system is to not use seed treatments. If your seed looks like a bag of Skittles or every color under the rainbow, you just set yourself up for sickness. To eliminate artificial fertilizers. If we go to biologically feeding, so we're taking carbon from the atmosphere, bringing it down, sequestering it into our soil systems to feed the biology under our feet. The biology will feed our plants. If we go to biological feeding, we create a suppressive soil system because those microbes will completely surround those plant roots and protect that plant from pathogens or disease. So then when that plant is taking in a carbon element from the atmosphere, those microbes are sending immune system triggers throughout that plant. And it's triggering that immune system to go, go, go. And if it senses something's wrong with that carbon as it's entering its leaf, if there's a pathogen, a pest, a viral intrusion, anything in that, it'll simply grab it and stop it in its tracks and will not allow it to show its face. Fungicides destroy the fungal network in our soil systems, and the fungi is what we use to detox everything out of our ecosystem. Fungi will detox chemicals, pathogens, infections, everything out of our soil system naturally. They used fungi to clean up nuclear waste. I mean, fungi is a powerful element and one tool we use to detox our ecosystem. The elimination of pesticides in our field systems. When our plants are taking in carbon, they produce complex sugars, and those complex sugars aren't able to be digested by leaf-eating insects. So pests are not a problem. So the elimination of pesticides no longer harms the microorganisms under our feet, so they're able to feed our plants. One other thing we can do to build a suppressive system is introduce crop rotations. Diversity of crops grown instead of a single species or a two-crop oscillation. We need plant species from all different families growing to feed all the different microorganisms. So we don't just support one system or one species, we bring them all back and we form a quorum. And once that quorum's formed, we've got protection. That's what immunity comes from. Once that happens, we have immunity functions within our plants. We can stop those pests, those diseases from ever allowing them to express themselves. One other thing we can do to build a suppressive system is the introduction of cover crops and multi-species plants, companion plantings, diversity plantings. It's important to have a diversity of plants in your soils to feed the diversity of microorganisms under our feet. We need a bunch of those organisms working together, not just a single one or two. We need everyone working together. That whole community comes together and it forms plant protection. So cover crops, keeping a living root in the soil as long as possible. We want to be pumping as much carbon as we can into the ground. So there should always be something living in the soil. It doesn't have to be a big biomass plant or anything. Small little roots pumping out exudates to keep those microbes fed. And we can farm in a suppressive system that simply does not allow diseases to express themselves.